Okay, so this is going to be my review of the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Right now this is my current EDC blade. I carry this just about everywhere I can carry it, so it's like work, out and about, to the mall, whatever. By far this is my favorite blade that I've owned so far. I haven't owned many, but I mean compared to the Kershaw Chill I had before this, it's a big step up. They're two really different categories, but you know, that's just what I have to compare it to. Let's start off with some specs, I guess. The blade steel is going to be S30V. Blade length is going to be like about 3.5. I think it's like 3.44 inches long. It comes with a compression lock in the back here. A lot of handle space. G10 scales. Milled out liners on the inside. Most of this stuff you'll know already just from people like Nut and Fancy and Cutlery Lover and the millions of other people that have done a review on this blade. But this is just to give you guys my perspective on the blade. I guess I'll start off with the pros then. I love this blade just because of the way it feels in my hand. The way that this part is ergoed, it just fits really nicely in my hand. And when you pick it up and you grip it in this sort of semi-saber grip right there with your thumb up here on the jimping, it really locks in your hand, and I like that it's got this extra choil on the top so I can choke up on it if I need to do like finer detail work, although most of the time if I need to do something like that I'm needing to do tip work, so I just hold it like that. But again, it's really comfortable. Second thing I like about the knife is definitely the weight. I mean, I'm not really one to harp on weight as far as some other people, but I mean, when I clip it in, I really don't even know it's there. Especially for how much knife I am getting for that sort of size. I like it a lot. The blade itself is just an excellent slicer. I mean, you can see how the full flat ground and then that fairly wide. Let me see if I can get a closer focus on that for you guys. Let's see here. Yeah, but it's just that relief edge right here just gives you a really nice slicing edge when you need it. Let's see, pulling that out. But yeah, and so as far as doing all like the normal EDC tasks like cutting open boxes, cutting through tape, opening envelopes and stuff like that, this blade really helps to just cut through that. Another thing I like is the compression lock. This is just a major step up from just your traditional liner lock. I like it because, not because of any like particular strength test, although I do know that it's fairly strong for what it is. I do like it a lot just because it's so smooth. I can do it like that and it'll just sort of slip and hang. When I've freshly lubed this, I use Tough Glide to lube it. But when I do, it's just, oh man, you can almost just like hold it like that and it'll just open up on its own. The knife itself is, as far as the detent, I like the detent on the liner lock style knives because when it breaks, it's a really crisp break, and so it just flicks out like that, as opposed to some of the lockbacks or, oh, I don't know, yeah, even some of the Axis locks. I mean, the Axis locks don't give as crisp of a break as the, as like the liner lock or compression lock style knives. Let's see, what else about this knife? The G10 scales are grippy enough. I mean, you could make it a little bit more aggressive, I guess, if like Cold Steel or Emerson, but then it just tears into your pants with the pocket clip here. So I like this G10 grippiness where it's at right now. This is about the amount of grip that my old Chill had. But I would more rely on the actual shape of the knife, or the knife handle at least, to where I'm going to get a lot of my grip, which is why I like the choil, so it's harder for me to slip up on it, and I have done that before. So I like, you know, having something to lock in my fingers as opposed to just having a bunch of little tech strings on the blade, although it does help. Let's see, what else about this blade? The steel itself, S30V, it's probably the most exotic steel I have right now. That's not saying a lot because S30V has sort of become that use it in every knife sort of steel, but I like it a lot for, you know, the price that I'm paying for it, which for this knife you're going to look to pay maybe about $115, $120 now. The But the steel though, it's a really solid steel. It doesn't hold a razor sharp edge for, you know, as long as I would like to compared to some of the more exotic stuff like, you know, M390, S30, S90V, etc. But it's a lot easier to sharpen than those from what I've heard. But yeah, I mean, for most, you know, to keep a like a usable working edge on your blade, the S30V will do fine. Then there's S35 and stuff like that that's coming out, but I don't really have any experience with that. Let's see what else. The pocket clip does come with 4 positions down here, up here, here, and here. There's really only one position that I'd ever consider using, keeping this in, because I am right-handed. It's right hand tip up. And speaking of the tip, that's probably my biggest complaint about this knife, is that it's a fairly fragile tip. If you can see, I'm gonna zoom up again. Let's see here. But if you can see right here, I've actually had to re-tip it, and from what I've been told, I'm not supposed to tip. I'm not supposed to resharpen it going down like this. I'm supposed to bring all this stuff at the bottom up, or at least that's what the guy at the knife store told me in the future to do, is bring this material up. But it was more straightforward to me when I was sharpening it, just to sharpen down like that, but I can see where he's going with that. But it is, out of the box, an incredibly fine tip. It's probably the sharpest tip, again, the sharpest tip that I've owned so far. And that's really nice for detail work, but I mean, if you bang your knife into things like I do occasionally, you will dent this. I've had, the first day I had this, and I had it out, I was trying to break in the bronze bushings, or phosphor bronze bushings, in the pivot here, and I was swinging it out back and forth at work during my lunch break, and I knocked the tip into a chair, and it just bent the tip sideways, and I was like, shit. So then I had to re-tip it, and that's happened maybe once or twice after that, just from hitting something or you know, being careless like that. I mean, if you're really careful with your knives, I don't think it'll be a big issue, but you know, it's something to consider if you're planning on hard using the knives. I mean, when I say hard using, as hard of a use as, you know, you could expect your folder to go through. That's why I'm actually looking into getting a different knife now, just to experience something different with not a full flat ground and a much stronger tip here. But I mean, again, when you're talking about detail work, that tip just rips in this, or just like glides through stuff when you're, you know, making a puncture and then pulling through with it. Let's see, anything else about this knife? I do like the lanyard hole here. It's nice and big. It's easy to fit these lanyards that I make through here, and then be able to pull it through fairly easily. I guess that's it for the price. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much my favorite EDC knife up to this point. When I first saw the knife, I wasn't really interested in it, just because I wasn't interested in most Spydercos because of the spider hole, and they just look weird to me, or to most people when they first take a look at it. But when you really, you know, get down and buy it and start using it, you realize why they're so popular. So that's been my short little review of the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Just send me a comment in the section below and let me know what you think. Thanks, bye.